In this section, you will learn how to build a virtual world on Spotmaze. To build your world, you have to first decide on what is the theme of the world you want to build. Assume that you're giving someone a tour of your topics. Visualize how they would like to see these connected through locations inside the world. Outline the connections in your storylines and topics to make these available in the form of a map. You can create a map inside your document to help visualize how your layout might look like. Create a 2D XY grid inside your document with x-axis as horizontal and with y-axis as vertical. Then give approximate locations to your topics. The player will start at 0, 0 facing the horizontal x direction. Connect these locations with pathways. This will then form an approximate map of your world. Next, we are going to see the most important step of all, and this is where all the magic happens. We're going to convert this document map into an Excel spreadsheet, which we will then directly import to create the final world. To understand the format, first download the default Spotmaze Excel spreadsheet using the links given in the description. You can also get it directly from the GitHub repository of Spotmaze. Check out the links in the description for downloading the Excel file. Once you have a valid Spotmaze spreadsheet, go through the various sheets that you would require to build the world. There are a total of 5 sheets in the Excel file, the two most important being the spots and the maze sheet. Let's now take a look at the spots sheet. It consists of names and locations of the different spots in your world. It's extremely important that you do not change the names of any of the spreadsheets or of the names of the title bars within the spreadsheets. Otherwise, it will disturb the format and the world will not get imported correctly. When you create the column for spots, you give it a name based on the theme you would like it to have. Like for example, it could be applications, features, etc. It could be anything. It's important to give the spots distinct names so that the Spotmaze interpreter doesn't get confused. After you have decided the themes for the spots, it's time to give them a location. Let's now take a look at the map. You're currently working on an XY grid of plus minus 10 by 10, and your default start point is 0, 0. Start giving locations to your spots in a way that makes sense. That is, nearby locations should have related themes. Once you have fixed the locations, fill in the final location table, and then this will serve as the final location inputs to Spotmaze. Let's now take a look at the maze sheet. The maze sheet consists of connections within the spots. To create the connections, just specify the names of the spots to connect with a single path. If you need to connect spots using multiple paths, you can then insert an array of locations to trace the path. Let's now see how to add and connect new spots. First, add a spot named, let's say, new spot 1. Then add another duplicate new spot 1. See what happens? The application has just identified an error. So to remove that, just change the name to new spot 2 and the error is now gone. Next, we have to assign locations to these spots. Go over to the map area and then select a location to add. Select Alt plus down arrow to access the drop-down menu. They should have appeared here, but they're not there. Oh yes, you should also remember to extend this formula list to include all your spots. And now they appear here as expected in the final rendering. Let's now go over to the maze section and connect the spots with a valid path. Again, like previous, press Alt and down arrow to go to the drop-down menu. Select new spot 1 and then do the same for new spot 2. Select the new spot 2 and then you can see immediately in the final rendering that they're already connected. Likewise, even in the spots sheet, the final rendering gets updated. Next, let's remove these spots from the spots column and see what happens. Oh, look at that. The application has immediately raised an error flag. Just remove them and now the error is gone. Same with the maze connections. It has raised an error because the name new spot 1 and 2 are now no longer available in the spot column. Just remove them from the spot column and now the error goes away as well. Also, don't forget to remove any stray points from your location column. Otherwise, there'll be some leftover points from your previous additions. For example, when you had these, you would have had stray points like these left over. Fill in the other important fields as well, like text, images, and forums, etc. Just study this Excel file and deduce the format and figure out how these fields are formatted at your own pace. And finally, the upload process sheet describes how to import your spreadsheet into Spotmaze. Just go over this step by step and you should be able to run your world. Create your own document. You can then write your storylines and topics in a document editor. It is recommended that you classify your information using different heading levels, 1, 2, 3 like that, in the order of details. This will make it easier for you to convert this document outline into a world representation. One of the exciting things about Spotmaze is the use of imagery to describe your locations. You can add images to the locations. The aspect ratio of the images should be 4:5. Use a presentation to standardize the layout of the document, and a standard format such as .png would work. Then drag and drop this into your image folder into the repository. To access this build video, just go to instructions and then go to the build section. There you'll find a link to this video. In the next video, we'll be explaining how to launch a world using Spotmaze. Like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to stay updated with our content.